Titanfall was recently released on the Xbox 360, almost a month after the PC counterpart, and today we're going to look at a comparison of the two, looking at the graphics, the way it runs, the way it plays, and most importantly the gameplay. After spending most of my time playing Titanfall on the PC, it's very different using the Xbox controller and Xbox 360 whilst playing the game. It feels a lot smoother using the controller when compared to the clunky keyboard, and I'll discuss this in more detail further. Coming up, however, is a fairly ridiculous glitch. It was my very first game in Titanfall on the 360, and well, it didn't leave the best sort of ideas in my mind of what the rest of the game had for me.
Violet, this is a battle of attrition. Eliminate all enemy forces.
As you saw, that was a pretty silly glitch. First game on Xbox 360, and I was thinking to myself, right, what is going on? The screen was jumping all over the place, there was lots of screen tearing going on, the HUD duplicated itself, and I just thought, what is this game? Why have they released it? But luckily, after that, there was no other issues in terms of glitches of the same kind for me during the time playing the 360 version.
Titanfall incoming.
In comparison to the 360 version of the game, it runs really nicely on PC. The graphics look decent for a PC game, nothing special, especially when compared to engines such as Frostbite 3 that games like Battlefield 4 run, but it looks good, and especially compared to the 360, you get it's a lot sharper, colours are better, more vibrant, and the all-round feel of the game is just a lot smoother. If you have a medium to high spec PC, you have no trouble getting over 100 frames per second whilst running this game at max settings. This is partly due to the game running off the Source engine. This engine has been around for games like Gary's Mod, but it's been modified, and EA have said that it's been built from the ground up, especially for Titanfall, and it is more advanced than the standard Source engine, but Source engine fundamentally is a very basic engine, which does limit the game graphically. The explosions, for example, there's no particle effects, they're just purely an animation, and you notice it quite often, especially when playing on a PC, when everything else looks pretty decent. Things like the explosions do let the game down graphically, but in comparison to the Xbox 360 version, you're in heaven with the PC version.
Victory is imminent. The battle's over. You're approaching Bravo. Watch for hostiles.
Switching back over to the Xbox 360 version of Titanfall, you can see the graphics are nowhere near as sharp and as crisp as its PC counterpart, and for me the colours are what really lets it down. To be fair, this map seems quite sort of deserty that you're seeing in the background. It's not a particularly colourful map, but the maps in general, there's not enough contrast in them, the colours aren't as vivid, and the overall sharpness of textures is just far less than the PC counterpart. To be fair, the PC has a lot more power, or mine does anyway, and most people, the Xbox 360 is sort of a 7-year-old piece of technology. It is to be expected that this game is going to struggle, but I didn't expect it to be as bad or as a big difference as it was. I was disappointed by the graphics, and I think it's what lets the Xbox 360 edition down, because the 360 edition has the advantage of you playing on a controller. I know with the PC you can go out and buy a controller, let's say a wired controller, and play with it fine, but then you put yourself at a disadvantage, etc, etc. With the 360 version, the controller, and the way that EA and the other studio that name has slipped my mind, created the game, and controls work really well, and it's really fluid and suits the game style. In many reviews you will just read about how the controller really suits the game, and I have to agree with those reviews. The keyboard at times can be clunky, as there's lots of different things. You're free running, it's a really fluid experience on the Xbox 360, so that's what I think It's a real big selling point is the graphics do however let it down.
Pilot, you're approaching Bravo. Watch for hostiles. You're dominating that pilot.
Back onto the subject of issues with the Xbox 360 edition. Throughout the entire time I played Titanfall, not just on the odd occasion, I was experiencing many rendering issues. Say I'd got to a wall that I've just free-runned up to, the wall wouldn't render correctly, it'd be a blur, it might take up to 2 or 3 seconds to render. And I especially notice this when you're sort of free-running at high speed, moving towards objects and walls at high speed. And particularly when you spawn in as well, the area around you often isn't rendered in, it's blurry, it's not correct. This is something I never experienced with the PC edition, the many hours I've got in that, and in the 3 or 4 games that I did get in the 360 edition, I experienced that far more, and it's just disappointing really, because this game's such good gameplay. The 360 edition really does struggle with graphic issues. Another big issue is frame rates when you're in big fights, for example. Say there's 3 or 4 titans in front of you, like mashing each other, it's flailing metal. The 360 really doesn't like that. It takes offense at flailing metal, obviously. The game will just start to sort of die, lag. Went down to as low as 5 frames per second at time during it. And it really sort of breaks up the combat. This game's pretty fast paced, and the frame rate issues really take that away.
We now have control of hardpoint Bravo. Tech 6 to all units. Victory is imminent. The battle's almost over. Well done.
Replacement Titan online. Signal when ready.
To conclude this video, I'm going to talk about how the game actually plays. For the PC, you get really high frame rates, so the game feels smoother, graphics look better, there's a further render distance. Often there's quite a high gathering of mist on the 360 edition. This is because they obviously don't want to render out the whole map, but on the PC you can see right the way across the map. And at times the game looks really nice graphically, other times it's let down even on the PC. But I'm going to stop talking about graphics and talk about how the game actually plays. The game feels really great on the Xbox 360 version. It runs really well at most of the time, a few rendering issues, but when you're free running through buildings using the analog sticks on a controller, it's really satisfying when you sort of link up several different jumps and leaps and flying through windows and grappling on titans and ejecting, etc, etc. It just feels awesome, and it's really satisfying when they're all linked up together. You get the same awesome feeling on the PC edition of Titanfall of link up jumps. The fluidity is really complemented due to the higher frame rate on the PC. The game feels really smooth, and Titanfall has a really awesome base concept. Free running, jumping on titans, shooting each other. It really is the future of FPS, and I think a lot of games are going to follow suit. Titanfall 2, I can't wait. Hopefully they improve the graphics, keep the gameplay similar. Improve map design a little. I think some of the maps a little bit bland, but that's they sort of redesigned everything with the new style of gameplay. You can't really fault them for things like maps. Also, which was a tad disappointing, was the range of weapons in the game. Could have been more. You find yourself, well, you find everyone using either an SMG or the same assault rifle. But apart from that, I can't really fault the game. I had tons of fun playing it throughout my month on PC and for a day or so on Xbox 360. Whichever version you get, you're really going to enjoy. Thanks for watching this video. I've been Joel, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful. Thanks for watching.